Okay, welcome back everyone to the Anime Goat podcast. Today we will be reviewing My Adventures with Superman episode 10, the finale, and also giving our thoughts on the entire season of My Adventures with Superman. This is CW and I'm here with
Katie Cade or Root Beer 450.
Yes, she's back. So episode 10 was called Hearts of the Fathers, and it follows what happened at the end of Zero Day Part 2. Basically, well, I'll let you explain something.
Okay, so it's a continuation of what happened in Zero Day Part 2, which was episode 9. And it started with Clark waking up from a nightmare, and he basically sees himself during Zero Day, which is kind of like the image that the general had put in his mind and what he saw. And yeah, that's how it starts off, and then throughout the episode we follow Clark, Jimmy, and Lois as they try to have a good Thanksgiving, but it's interrupted when Clark finds out that the general, or Lois Lane's father, is actually the general. So I'll let you go ahead and add it.
Clark and Lois are dating, of course, boyfriend and girlfriend, whatever. So there's some tension there between Clark and the general. Clark does reveal to Jimmy that Lois Lane's dad is the general. Yeah, so they go out and they dropped a little relic thing that they got from the Loises from the multiverse. And he sees himself actually doing the rogue things that he was sent there to do. So I guess that's going to play into his mind even more. And then that little relic has a piece of kryptonite, which of course is what hurts Superman, so he's hurt. So then the Kryptonian forces come in, start attacking. Lois's dad, the general, has to try to take them down. He's doing a pretty good job with his whatever kryptonite gun. So yeah, that continues where he's trying to take down the Kryptonian robots or whatever they are, and then his kryptonite gun is not working, so in comes in Superman. I guess he's healed from his kryptonite whatever, his seizure or whatever you want to call it. So I'm gonna pass it back to Katie Cade.
Yeah, so I guess I'll just go ahead and go into like my thoughts on the episode. I thought this episode was really good. I thought it was like a really good conclusion, especially after we had the whole two-parter for Zero Day. And I think it did a really good job of kind of like tying everything together and also leading into like season 2. As we know, on adultswim they confirmed that season 2 is in production. So yeah, I think it did a good job of kind of leading into season 2 while tying up, everything that's happened in the first season. Especially with like, just even in the beginning, like, the whole series started off with Clark going on his first day to work, and then in the season finale we get to see him go from an intern to a reporter. So it's kind of like we get to see all of his hard work pay off and everything comes full circle.
I agree, and if you have not seen this episode, which you can watch on Max, stream it on Max at any time, or you can stay up till midnight tonight. It's also on Hulu, or you can stay up till midnight tonight and watch it on Toonami. But yeah, so if you haven't seen it, this is a heavy spoiler, but at the end, once again, spoiler, Brainiac is behind these attacks with someone called Nemesis Omega, who I have my assumptions of who that is, but I'll save that for another video. But they are the ones behind these attacks. Okay, well, I'll say my assumption. I think Nemesis Omega is General Zod. And so Zod and Brainiac are working together to do whatever they're trying to do. And they're trying to, I guess they're trying to get rid of Superman because he did not fulfill what he was sent there to do. So yeah, I guess that's the starting point of that. But we also have Lex Luthor already. He's been introduced, so he may play a part in the next season. There's still Task Force X out there, Slade, all those guys. So those are kind of minor, I guess, in the Superman verse, but those are still enemies out there that can be a challenge to Superman in some way. So let's give a number grade 1 through 10 for episode 10, Hearts of the Father. I'll give mine first. I think it was a solid 9 out of 10. Last week's, I gave it a 10 out of 10. I thought everything was really, really good. Or was it last week or the week before? The week before, 0 Day Part 1, I gave it 10 out of 10. Last week, I only did a short about that, and I think I gave it 7 out of 10. It was okay. But this one I think finished strong. I think they have a clear vision of the next seasons. If they have more seasons, which they will have a season 2, but they've set up a lot of things, a lot of moving parts to continue. So a good solid 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I would say this episode is a 10 out of 10. I think it was really good.
Okay, brief and to the point. Okay, now let's give our thoughts on the whole season. Oh well, Katie Kate has one more tidbit on this episode.
I also wanted to say that, at the end, Jimmy says he sold Flamebird for $5 million or so. And I feel like this is going to play into the next season because now that he's a millionaire, maybe he'll have like targets on his back from some of these villains that were kind of, left off in the last episode. So maybe like, I don't know, Slade or something will be after him.
Yeah, that'll probably be some kind of side mission or side story as far as Jimmy becoming a millionaire, and maybe that'll change some dynamic between that crew as well. So now we'll jump into the season. If you haven't seen it, it's 10 episodes, which I hope you won't be listening to all these spoilers. But yeah, it's 10 episodes. I thought it started a little slow, and then it started to pick up a lot of steam as it got probably midway, and I thought it ended strong. So introduced quite a bit of characters. Like I said, Task Force X, Amanda Waller. If you are a fan of the Suicide Squad, you'll know who she is. The General, who was Lois Lane's dad, Slade, Deathstroke, Heatwave, Mist, a bunch of people. Parasite, Ivo, and of course Lex Luthor he doesn't play a big part, but he is a part of the story in some ways. So they managed to put in quite a few characters and make them all intertwine in a pretty good way. So if I had to give the season a grade, I'm gonna give this a letter grade. I would give it a solid B+. I think, like I said, it kind of started slow, but I think it ended very strong, and I think they've done enough to where there's probably a lot of intrigue going forward into season 2. Like I said, Brainiac is now, we've confirmed we know Brainiac's there. Nemesis Omega, who we're assuming is General Zod, so that's playing into a big event. So yeah, solid B+, and we'll let Katie K give her grade.
Yeah, I'd probably say it's a B+ too. I feel like there was some hiccups. There's a few episodes or scenes that I didn't really like, but overall it was really enjoyable, and I'm looking forward to season 2.
Oh yeah, one more thing. I keep meaning to see who the voice actor is for Superman? Okay, I just have to say voice actor Jack Quaid for Superman. Well, very good. He does have some tonal issues, I think, sometimes when he's trying to show emotion. It doesn't come off as authentic. Like, it just comes off like he's kind of just saying it, but you don't feel any kind of emotion. So I think this is a good stepping stone for him to get a little better in that regard. Okay, so my daughter's saying this might be his first time or I didn't. So yeah, this is maybe his. He's kind of new to voice acting, so it's probably hard to do that when you're just kind of sitting there. But yeah, I think that's something he can build off of. I don't think he was a bad voice actor. He just sometimes his emotion wasn't there. He was kind of not stoic, but he just it felt like he was just reading something. So that's my only real big complaint. But I could get past all of that because everything else is pretty good. And like I said, B plus. Ready to see what's going to happen in season 2. Can't wait to see what they do with Brainiac and Nemesis Omega. So, any last words?
I don't think so. I'm just wondering how long this show is gonna be, like how much they have planned, because I feel like a lot happened, and the format that they've done, just kind of like the hero of the week until the villain of the week until the very end of the season. I just kind of wonder how that's gonna carry on and how long they can like carry that on.
I agree. If they're going to do just a random villain and then, try to do one big overarching, arc at the end of their seasons, it could become a little bland because they have to introduce new characters every single week. And for Superman, I mean, that's sustainable because he can really use any villain from any DC verse for the most part, since it's all intertwined. As we saw, Gotham is a thing. So, there are Batman villains that can technically be a part of the Metropolis and part of Superman's story. But let's hope that they come up with more formulas in the future.
And that's another thing we saw. Vicky Vale, so we know that like Batman is somewhere in this verse. So I'm kind of wondering if they're just gonna keep this as like a strictly Superman thing, or if they're gonna include some of the rest of the Justice League people.
So I guess we'll see in season 2. So hope you guys enjoyed this review / rating for this season. Anime Goatcast will be back with more content soon, and so come check us out next episode.